What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be making more progress on the GSR Integra, and if you guys haven't seen the last video, be sure to go back and check it out. We took delivery of the K20A Type R engine. We stripped it down from all the parts that we don't need from it, and we got it planted into the engine bay with the half-sport motor mounts. Honestly, I wasn't going to be out here today because I've already lost a lot of time running around all morning and doing some work on my computer, but we confirmed that we now have a dyno date for this car. Eric told me he was going to take this car in to get it dynoed himself, but he said if I can schedule it in, I can take it to the dyno. So shout out to Guy for squeezing me in his busy schedule. We have a dyno date. So I need to come out here and make more progress on the car because the dyno date is kind of approaching really fast. It is currently 6:53 right now, guys, and the sun's about to set in less than an hour, give or take. But we're gonna try to make major progress. So today's goal is to install the header and the exhaust system and modify whatever we need to do to get the two mated up together. And if we have some time, we'll squeeze in some other stuff like maybe the engine harness or the fuel setup. So I'm gonna go ahead and dig out the header right there to show you guys what we are working with, and then the exhaust system is just sitting right there in the back. So the header we're using is called Werks, and this header will work for the setup perfectly fine. So many different companies, so many different header designs out there. Find one that suits your needs, and also if you want to go really in depth with it, header design also plays a role in power band. So do your research, find one that works for you. This header right here is some big tube this is a 4-1 design with the megaphone. So this is the top half, right? We got the 4 design, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the back half right here has the 4 junction into 1. So 4-1 design with a megaphone. Megaphone helps the flow a lot. We do have a 2.5-inch outlet which uses a donut style. We might be changing the setup on the back end right here, but we'll figure it out as we go. So I'm gonna retain the OEM multi-layer header gasket. Reason being is because this style of a gasket, I've always seen them burn out or tear up over time, and then you're going to create a lot of exhaust leak. Definitely do not use this for a turbo setup. All motor might be a little more forgiving, but we're going to keep the OEM unit. When I say there's a lot of space in the DC chassis, I really do mean it. It looks like we might be able to squeeze the header, at least the top half, through the top of the engine bay. Might have to move the shield a little bit, but we'll figure it out right now. Yep, it looks like the shield needs to come off. This right here is the half shaft shield, and it is held on by 3 12mm bolts. 1, 2, 3. Honestly, I've never ran this before, so we shouldn't have a problem at all. Let's see if the header will clear from the top. Ooh, it does. It sure does. All right, top header on. So this exhaust system is called REVEL, and Eric was telling me that this is or was Ktuned. And if you guys didn't know, Ktuned made a medallion exhaust system. So if you look at the paperwork, it says right here, Medallion Street Plus. So it may be, I don't know. If somebody can confirm it, leave a comment down below. But it says right here, this exhaust system is a bolt-on for the Integra Type R or the Integra GSR. I'm pretty sure they have a kit specifically for the LS RSGS model, because if you guys didn't know, the header of the GSR and Type R is different than the LS model. So you have to buy the one specifically for your model, otherwise you're going to have to modify the midsection to fit your header. In our case, it's a K swap, so we're going to have to do some sort of modification. But we have all the gaskets right here. I also just noticed this right now. It says Medallion right here on the tip, just like the Tanabe does. And before we actually install the back half of the header, this part right here, we need to install the axle back and the S pipe right there to figure out how much we need to modify this to fit this midsection right here. So let's go ahead and install this. Maybe a little hard for you guys to see, but we have a bushing up here and one on the opposite side. Now this axle back calls for a third one right here in the back, and if you look, it's kind of sagging a little bit. But let me go see if I have an extra one. So we have the REVEL axle back and the mid pipe installed. This is going to be a little tricky because the B series exhaust system, this piping right here curves towards the driver's side because the header sits more that way, transmission sits over here. K series is the opposite, so the header is more towards the passenger and is off centered from where this guy is pointing at because of this curve right here. Now if I flip the mid exhaust upside down to cock this more towards the passenger side, it hangs really low because of the hangers right here. So I guess we're just really going to modify that back half of the header itself to kind of clock it that way. But let's test fit it real quick. Yeah, there is no way to test fit this, granted how long the megaphone is. So the only thing I'm guessing here is possibly on the back half after a flex pipe, because we're going to add a flex pipe. I can try to curve it towards the mid exhaust right here. If anything, I can always try to pull the exhaust over just a little bit. It's not hitting anything, so I guess we have no choice but to lob off this megaphone right here. So I'm taking note that the smallest part of the megaphone right here is still larger than the provided flex pipe. So let me show you guys really quickly, right? And then if you go over here to the flex pipe, we have all this play. So I got to measure this a bajillion times because I want to make this right the first shot. Now I did look inside the megaphone. Might be a little hard for you guys to see, but there's already a little lip sticking out that's smaller than the megaphone. So I'm hoping that if I cut in front of the welds, it'll expose that smaller piece on the inside that would hopefully line up, or at least let this one slip in, so it'll be a tight joint to weld. But I'm gonna have to assess this 1,000 more times before we proceed. Look at that. There's that other piece on the inside right there. Okay, it's a perfect fit, but I was hoping that it'll slip over. We'll make something of it. So this is what I was referring to, K series to B series exhaust. You see how we have this weird angle? I can pull the exhaust over, right? But it'll put a little bind on the exhaust hanger system, because if I let it go, it retracts back. This would be a type pi if I was to kind of like curve it, right? The other flange has a neck on it. I want to say this is about 3 inches. So honestly, like, it'll butt right up to the exhaust if I pulled it over, right? Something like this. So I don't know, let me assess this a little bit more. So I cut this in half, and I'm able to turn this to kind of give me that curve and still be flat on both sides. Hopefully this, and I do have another piece, will position the flange to the exhaust system from the flex pipe. Crossing fingers. I'm probably gonna add the O2 sensor bung. Probably, I don't know, I feel like there's more space on this side. Maybe somewhere over here. But we got the piece that we need to connect the header to the exhaust. It has a little weird like up shape, right? Because the header's just a little taller. But the goal was to not modify the exhaust, and that'll work. If you're using 0204 ECU and you want a factory wideband for that ECU, part number right here, 2349005. If you're using 0506, it's a different part number. Back half of the header is all welded up and installed with a gasket in between right there. And I do have an O2 sensor bung on the side. Just gonna slap that right in there, and I'm gonna be feeding the connector itself right there through the secondary O2 sensor hole, which if you guys look, see that hole right there? Okay, this looks like a 12-inch cable. Different part number has different length cable, and hopefully this is long enough, but
it should just go right in there, and that should be accessible from the back side of the center console. I'm probably gonna have to zip tie this to the cable because I don't want that to sit on the exhaust system, but that should work. All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into the fuel system. So this right here is the Ktuned center feed fuel tuck system, and this kit comes with pretty much everything you need to run your fuel system in your K-swap chassis. So right here it has a diagram of how you're supposed to run all the lines and fittings, and I did check this earlier. It does have all the fittings attached already. This is pretty much a plug and play kit. Let me lay it out for you guys really quickly. Right here we have the filter, E85 compatible filter. On top of that we have all the hardware, wrenches for the AN fitting. We have the lines provided, fuel pressure gauge. This is the mounting bracket. I think we're going to be using this one, even though it says EG. This mounts off the 17mm bolt for the upper control arm, and reason for that is because I did test fit the fuel pressure regulator before, and I know one of the bolts will work with the provision provided here on the tower, but it's too offsetted for me. I think you can see that right there. If I move it all the way out, we got this guy hanging over here. So we're going to be switching this bracket over to the EG style. We have a fuel rail right here, Ktuned, and some stickers. So we're going to set up the fuel pressure regulator first. We're going to change out this bracket right here. Fuel pressure bracket for the EG chassis. We might have a little issue with this bracket. So if you look, the Allen key bolts are touching the tower and we're not all the way down yet. So this kit is a center feed, which means the fuel line goes right in the center, and it goes in between the intake manifolds to kind of tuck the fuel lines on the left and right hand side right here. The kit does come with the block offs and the angles that we need for the fuel line. So we got the center feed adapter right here on the bottom side of the fuel rail. That's going to tuck the fuel line underneath the intake manifold. So I'm going to go ahead and swap out the factory one. All right, that is our feed line to the fuel rail. Now let's go ahead and do the feed from the tank to the reg, and then the return from the reg to that hard line right here. So the return line is a smaller size. I believe this is like a -4 because the feed is a -6. Now these two are about the same length, but the hard line, the return is sitting right here, and the feed is going all the way over here. So what I want to do is I want to cut that hard line to keep both of them together right here. And I also got to bend it some way somehow, just so that it's pointing in the same direction. This is the return, this is the feed. I'm gonna try to turn this over here. So this right here is the return line. This one is the feed. I put the filter on with the provided 90 coupler, and I did bend the hard line. You can see it's facing us now. It used to run along the firewall. So what I did was I just clipped it in two pieces right here. I clipped the first one, the second one, slid it out of the clip, and then I used my tube cutter to cut off the squished end right there. And we do have probably 4 inches of tube right there. I much prefer to have this to be on a tube adapter on an AN fitting rather than just a hose clamped to the hard line, but unfortunately we're going to have to run it that way because that's how the Ktuned kit comes. So before I get too far ahead of myself, I wanted to show you guys that, and I'm going to go ahead and trim these lines to fit and clamp them down. Fuel system is done. So the Ktuned kit comes with 2 of these clamps. One fits perfect on the -6. The other one is a little too big for the -4, so I had to use a worm clamp right there, but nonetheless it's secured. We'll figure it out if it leaks, if we need to tighten it down more or not, but Ktuned need to give you the correct clamp for the size of the line that they put in the kit. Okay, so I'm going through the box of parts right here, and there are a few more things that I can install today. This right here is a new PVC system, and we're just going to change it out just because we got it. Goes right there. And then we still need to do spark plugs. This is the coolant temp adapter that goes in place of this guy. And then you can use like a DB series temp sensor to go in there. And then we need to take the coolant temp sensor, which is right here, that goes in the center of that. That's going to give signal to the cluster on the engine coolant temperature. And we can probably do the heater hoses as well too, but I need to talk to Eric because he wanted to retain the hot cold valve, but both the heater hoses go directly from the pipe to the heater core, right? If you look, and it doesn't curve to go that way because the valve was facing that way because it was B series. We got some NGK laser platinum, part number right there. Had to take off the coolant water neck right here because we have this barb that interferes with the valve cover, so makes it easy to twist this thing off. So guys, it is currently 9:49 and Eric just left just a little while ago. He came over here to drop off the ECU he just picked up from me a couple of days ago, dropped it off to the homie Nomis Industries, and let me tell you guys what, Nomis knocked out the service super fast. He got the K-Pro installed into Eric's ECU, and then Eric went back to go pick it up and dropped it off to me tonight. So now we have a K-Pro ECU for when we are ready for the first fire up of this K20A Type R. So if you guys didn't know, Nomis Industries is an authorized Hyundai dealer. So if you guys need S300, K-Pros, or Flash Pros, this is the guy to go to. Link in the description below. We have the original ECU that came out of the shipment of this K20A. So in case you guys are wondering, the ECU PRD-013 is a ECU that's compatible with K-Pro. So if you guys need K-Pros, hit him up. And if you guys don't have an ECU, he does have 6-speed ECUs with K-Pro installed ready to go. So hit him up if you guys are looking for any electronics. If you guys are looking for cop minis, he has those as well too. Realistically, as I mentioned in the very beginning of this video, my goal was to get the header on, the exhaust system on, and mate the two together, which we modified the back half of the header and got that fully connected in place. And then we did a bunch of other miscellaneous components like the fuel pressure regulator kit from Ktuned. So that's all ready to rock and roll. I was supposed to do the heater hoses as well too, but after talking to Eric, he most definitely want to keep the hot cold valve. So I need to put a little bit more thought into it, do a little bit more research, and figure out how people are going about keeping the valve. And Eric did show me a photo that he had on his phone of somebody that did it before, and they practically moved this in line this way. So instead of it being bolted to the firewall, it's gonna free float over here. So I need to figure out how to do all that, and then we'll modify the Ktuned lines to fit it all up. We're probably gonna do all of that with the cooling system and the AC system together. So as far as tonight goes, guys, I think we're done here. While me and Eric was outside talking for a little bit, I was kind of assessing the engine bay, and after kind of looking at everything, dude, I think tomorrow might be the first startup of this K20A swap GSR Integra. Realistically, it's just the wiring, the conversion harness, the grounds, fluid, and we have the ECU now, the most important thing here, and we can probably turn this car on tomorrow. Realistically, I was trying to do the whole shebang first, like the AC system, the cooling system, and then the wiring stuff, program the ECU, then fire it over. But I feel like I need to do the wiring stuff first because it's easier to access underneath the intake manifold without the radiator condenser in the way. So I decided to switch the plans here a little bit to do the wiring stuff first before the AC and the cooling system. So that is the game plan, guys. I'm hoping tomorrow, maybe, possibly, we're gonna try to shoot for the first startup. So yeah, that's that. Now, before I wrap up this video, I did go to the PO box and I received 2 packages that I want to open here with you guys really quickly. They both came from the same person, so I'm curious to know what's inside. So this first one right here came from Heath Young out of Texas. Very flat piece, no idea what's in here, but let's go ahead and open it up. yo, this is funny, dude. This is funny. Okay, this is just a back plate to protect this, but dude, no mama's way. Yo, I need to put this like outside or something. Oh, you know what? No mama's way. Dude, this is hilarious, bro. Hey, appreciate that, man. Probably go right here on my welding table, to be honest with you. That's cool, man. That's cool. That's definitely cool. All right, so the second package right here, also from Heath Young out of Texas, and this thing's got some wood grain tape on it. Let's go ahead and open this thing up. Oh, oh, I cut the whole lid off. Ooh, okay. So we have a note right here. What's up, Dana? Keep up the great builds plus great videos. Just sending you a new distributor. I can't use it
use it, sell it, trade it, whatever you want. Just want to support the great channel you got. Also got a few little things in the box for you as well. Big fan in Texas, Heath. So Heath sent me a distributor, and it says right here 92 93 Honda Accord 2.2 liter, brand new, and it's OBD1. If this sits in the same configuration, it's just a little different configuration than the B series. Maybe single cam, I don't know. 2.2 liters in F series, right? I think it is. You guys know me, anything that comes to the PO box, we always try to find a way to utilize everything. So big shout out for this distributor. And then right here in this little baggie, I see this. All right. So we have a, it's a pin. It's backward, I couldn't tell, but it's a pin. And it literally says, "No mames, way." Hey, this is sick. So a lot of you guys been sending me pins as well too. I need to like make a pin collection of something, like a beanie or a hat, or I know a lot of people put them on Crocs. I don't have Crocs, but dude, this one is pretty cool. No mames way pin, dude. Big shout out. And then we have a bunch of stickers as well too. We got C for chorizo. We have I'm not even gonna try to read that. Check that out. This one right here. A bunch of little goodies, man. Heath, much appreciated, brother. I appreciate the care package. Dynamic dual dash. Okay, that was pretty cool. ¿Por qué? Oh, look, we even got a No Mama's Way sticker. That's pretty cool. Again, big shout out to Heath for sending out this care package, brother. I appreciate you. Like I mentioned, I try to utilize everything that comes to the PO box eventually. And also big thank you to everybody else who has spent time, money to even send anything to the PO box throughout the years. And I truly want to say I appreciate you guys so much, man. I'm truly blessed. You guys asked for a PO box. I opened it up, and you guys been showing nothing but mad love over there. So Heath, thank you for all of this, but we are going to wrap up the video right here. I hope you guys enjoyed the progress update on the GSR Integra with the K20A swap. If you guys did, be sure to leave a thumbs up. And if you guys want to stick around for the first startup, I'm hoping tomorrow, next video for you guys, be sure to hit the subscribe button. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.